Rotate plans tonight, not tense to whatever we want. We're young enough to say, oh, this has gotta be the good life. This has gotta be the good life. This could really be the good life. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
Jonathan the Boss Andrews graduates from high school and gets a full-ride scholarship to the University of Hawaii for track and field. He trains day and night and hydrates himself with a sports drink he created called Swag, which stands for Speed We All Gain. He drinks his drink through his Camelback, which never leaves his sight. His high jump skills impressed many coaches, and he was chosen to represent America in the 2016 Olympics. It came down to him and another opponent from Kenya named Daryl Bowden. Daryl was too intimidating for poor little Jonathan and beat Mr. Andrews with a jump of 9 feet and 14 inches. Jonathan jumped 4 feet 3 inches. This devastated Jonathan and he goes into a deep depression. He locks himself in his basement and constantly eats Girl Scout cookies while listening to Adele and crying intensely. He becomes clinically obese, gaining 603 pounds. 23 months later, he decides enough is enough and competes in The Biggest Loser. Through hard work and determination, he wins the competition and sheds all of his body fat. He then decides to compete in the Olympics again, but this time for the sport of curling. His opponent, Daryl Bowden. It was back and forth the whole event, but Jonathan ended up victorious. He meets Kim Kardashian afterwards and ends up marrying her. They have 4 children and they all can bench 250 pounds before the age of 3.
Moving like Bernie, we're moving like Bernie. Well, it's the weekend, we're moving like Bernie. Moving like Bernie, we're moving like...
Daryl Bowden attempts to go to Virginia Commonwealth. Unfortunately, he did not make it. He then tries to go to Duke, but once again, does not make it. He then tries for Kansas, but once again, fails. Daryl settles with becoming the first man to get into space using a homemade rocket ship. He then goes on to be the first man to do the Bernie on the moon. Upon his return to Earth, he splash lands in the Mediterranean Sea. He is picked up by a small fishing boat. He proceeds to gather a small band of robbers and captains a pirate ship. The Bernie Beard Pirates become the most feared pirates in the world. Daryl discovers a new continent and calls it Bowdenland. On his deathbed, Daryl tells his crew the immortal words, "Yeah, you're cool."
I'm fresher than them peppermint. Go let him in, his last king killing it. Young money, yeah, we getting rich.
After just 1 short year as a fireman, Luke Dillon will be promoted to chief fireman of the entire state of Texas. One day on his way home from the grocery store, he'll happen upon a retirement home on fire. Thinking quickly, Luke will go inside the burning building and save all of the residents inside. He'll put out the blaze with nothing more than a bottle of Dr. Pepper and a TV dinner. One of the residents will be so grateful that she'll insist on setting Luke up with her hot granddaughter, Catherine. Luke decides that he will go out with Catherine and falls in love with her. They get married in the fire station. The old lady also gives Luke all of her money from her late husband. The highlight of Luke's career is when he puts out a fire in New Jersey. That was started when the cast of Jersey Shore tried to put on hairspray and light a cigarette at the same time. One day at college, Devin will get hungry and go dumpster diving for food. He'll rummage all the way through the trash, and at the very bottom of the can, he'll find an old, green, moldy sandwich, and eat it. Soon after eating it, Devin's hair will begin to grow at an alarming rate, so that every day he'll have to get his hair cut. To stop the giant barber bills, he decides to put his hair up in dreadlocks. After spending a few months with his new hairstyle, Devin will drop out of college and pursue reggae music. He'll buy a pair of bongos and join the Tie-Dye Fighters, a Star Wars reggae cover band. With his dreads and bongo skills, Devin achieved musical fame. He left the band to pursue a solo career. He was the first reggae artist to win 5 Grammys. However, his career turned for the worst when he did an album exclusively of Justin Bieber covers. He was banished from the nation and sentenced to the Tower in Jamaica, where he was locked up. The Princess of Jamaica climbed up his flowing locks to rescue him, and he spent the rest of his life lying on the beach with her.
Never gonna grow up. Never gonna...
Jennifer will go on to graduate from Summit Christian Academy and go to college, where she meets and becomes best friends with her future husband, Noah. In her college years, she improves her skills and talents in art and becomes extremely good. Once she graduates from college, she marries Noah, and they buy a quaint little home in Austin, Texas. Here she creates all different types of art, varying from sculptures to paintings and sketches to murals. From her beautiful and breathtaking artistic abilities, she then becomes well known in the United States. As her popularity grows worldwide, she begins to place a signature cowboy boot icon in all her creations. She then becomes another Michelangelo or Vincent van Gogh. But through all her success, she gives God all the glory and praises Him through all her achievements. Because of her success, she has enough money to buy a giant garage and start her own personal collection of all her favorite old classic cars. Jennifer and Noah end up having 3 beautiful children and 5 grandkids who will also inherit her artistic talents.
Shelby Eckelkamp goes on to graduate from UT as a sports trainer. During a home football game, Shelby was carrying water bottles to the players and she threw out her bag. Luckily, Case McCoy was nearby and he came to her rescue. It was love at first sight. A week later, they got married at Kyle Field in College Station. One day, she was watching hip-hop ads on TV and she got really into it, so Case McCoy secretly recorded her and put it on YouTube as a joke. It gained popularity and caught the eye of the producers of So You Think You Can Dance. She went on to win the competition and with the prize money bought a mansion in Fiji where she had 5 kids, a giraffe, an ostrich, a narwhal, and a snow leopard named
Blanca de la Noche.
After graduation, Marina Gallup will attend Baylor University in hopes of becoming an elementary school teacher. She will go on to get a teaching job in California, and on the first day of school, she'll meet one of her students whose name is Justina Bieber. She then will ask her student if she has any relation to the former pop star Justin Bieber. She then reveals that she is his daughter. Marina is overjoyed and asks if there is any way she can meet him. So she arranges a parent-teacher meeting, and after a long discussion, he proposes to her. They then get married on a beach in the Bahamas, and on their honeymoon, they decide to adopt a puppy. On their way to the shelter, they discover that a hideous fire has broken out and is threatening the lives of all the cute, innocent puppies. Without hesitation, her and the Biebs run into the burning building to save the lives of the puppies. They gather 137 labs, poodles, terriers, and other types of puppies into her exterior, which she named Latrell. Her heroic deed gained her quick popularity all over the world, and she set the record for the first woman to have over 1 billion followers on Twitter.
After high school, Oscar enlists in the military and is assigned to Border Patrol. He gains the favor of his supervisors by bringing taquitos to every staff meeting. He's promoted and sent on top-secret missions. On one of his missions, his squad is ambushed by banditos, but luckily, Oscar is there and he single-handedly detains all of them. He becomes the most decorated soldier in the border war and retires with full honors at age 23. Hollywood hears of his heroic efforts and they decide to make a movie out of it. Oscar auditions, but sadly, he does not receive a callback. Instead, they cast Jack Black. The movie goes on to win 5 Academy Awards.
I chime in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing.
Shortly after graduation, Megan Hubbard pursues her dream to become a famous tattoo artist. In a series of unfortunate events, she ends up dyeing her hair pink and tattooing in downtown Connecticut. There she gets an unexpected client, Johnny Depp. He loved his tattoo so much that he married her. They move into a haunted house in Zimbabwe with their 57 cats. Megan then goes through a phase of inspiration when she invents a talking toothbrush that insults people. She comes out with her own clothing line where everything is made with beads. Megan lives a long, exciting life with Johnny, but in a tragic ghost attack, Megan dies in her own home at the age of 80.
When Brian graduates, he will immediately become a full-time Motley Crue stalker. He will stalk all of the band members until their deaths. Once they have all died out, he will build a time machine and go back to Motley Crue's musical pinnacle and attempt to bring them to the present. Unfortunately, due to a hideous malfunction on the journey back to the present, Brian will age rapidly and be approximately 135 upon return. He then lives out the remainder of his advanced life sitting on the front porch yelling at neighbor kids about how rock music was better in his day.
Jeremy will immediately take over the world. He will live a benevolent dictator for the rest of his days.
After graduating high school, Claire goes off to a college majoring in fashion and design. During her studies, she secretly designs a whole new fashion line. Once she finishes college, her line is published to a professional designer and is released to the public under the name Grandma Claire Clothes. Her colorful suspenders, mismatched socks, and eccentric outfits define the new neo-hipster movement. Her clothes become so popular that even celebrities like Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber start wearing them. Grandma Claire Clothes becomes a multi-billion-dollar business, and Claire is set for life at the young age of 23. She then decides to buy the island of Seychelles, which she promptly renames Claire Shells. It is there that Justin Bieber proposes to her, and she gladly accepts. She will live happily in Claire Shells with her new hubby for the rest of her life.
When John graduates from Michigan Tech, he will celebrate by going hunting for a wild bison. But he will never return, for he finds a shack in the woods full of guns, history books, and a TV that only plays Military Channel. He would then live out the remainder of his days correcting the history books and the TV.
Upon graduating from Summit Christian Academy, Caleb Olson will move to England and attend the prestigious university at Oxford and major in ceramics. However, due to an extensive workload and expensive tuition, Caleb will drop out. In order to financially support himself, Caleb will audition for a British sitcom show and will impress the producers with his mastery of the British language, and will become the leading role. He is an instant success and will become one of the most renowned British sitcom stars in the world. After 2 years of overwhelming success, he will be knighted by the recently crowned King of England and will forever be known as Sir Caleb Olson. However, 3 years into his career, Caleb realizes his true passion, domesticating and grooming polar bears. He then moves to Antarctica in search of fulfilling his destiny. While there, he meets a beautiful young woman named Joyce who shares the same passion. They have 3 children and have their own BBC Nature Channel reality show titled Polar Patrol.
Christina goes to Idaho State and majors in environmental psychology. While flying to visit her family, the plane crashes on a remote island of owls. She lives there for 5 years before becoming rescued, and immediately when she gets back, she wins the lottery and establishes 32 owleries for wayward owls. She spends the rest of her life as an owl psychologist.
Jana will graduate with honors at her dream university. She will become the CEO of Chipotle, where she will meet the guy of her dreams. She will have 4 kids and will be extremely happy. She will find a lot of success and be known as the most proficient CEO in Chipotle history. Later in life, when she retires, she will move to Jamaica, where she will enjoy life with her husband and kids at an amazing mansion. She will hold many parties there and will be able to listen to all of her favorite bands. She will be extremely happy and accomplished.
Sarah Walker graduates from Baylor University and works at Gold's Gym as a kids club employee. There she meets her husband Bubba, who is a stealthy and flexible yoga instructor. They have a wedding in the mountains of Switzerland, and her ring bearer is Yeti. They have 2 splendid daughters, Myrtle and Myrtle, who are twins with bright blonde hair. She pursues her passion of cheerleading, organizing and establishing a cheerleading squad for ACC, even though they don't have a sports team. One summer, she was swimming on the back of a narwhal when all of a sudden her tooth fell out and sank to the bottom of the ocean floor. Sarah and Bubba searched everywhere for the missing tooth and spotted a small bright white object. To her amazement, it was a pearl worth billions of dollars. They used the money to build a castle in Australia. Unfortunately, she never found her tooth, but as a sign of true love, Bubba surgically removed his tooth so she didn't have to be toothless alone. The only gap in their relationship is between their teeth.
After high school, Caleb Stevens will attend Austin Culinary Arts Institute. While taking classes there, he encounters a magazine editor who notices his good looks, resulting in him being featured on the cover of several issues of Sideburn Swag magazine. However, on the way to one of his photo shoots, he is in a horrible accident in which he results in being blind. Due to his ailment, he seeks enlightenment and decides to travel abroad. While climbing Mount Everest, the Sherpa guiding him breaks his leg, and Caleb must carry him the rest of the way up. Upon reaching the summit, they meet none other than Toseki's most interesting man in the world, and begin a heated debate, to which Caleb beats him so bad that he faints, and must carry him and the injured Sherpa down the rest of the mountain. For his heroic actions, his sideburns are forever immortalized in the Rock and Roll Museum, even though he never wrote a song.